Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of our single page application build with Express and React. And the next step is really start building out our API. So first let's just get up all the server setup stuff. So I'm going to head over into my backend folder, go to my server.js. Okay, and that was all set up, so we don't need that anymore. So next we'll require Express, so const express equals require express, or bring in the express library, because again express, that require function brings in our libraries, and we express is one of the libraries we brought in. Express. Okay, and then const app equals express, so we bring an application object that we can have all our routes fed off of. I also want to bring in Mongoose. Okay, Mongoose, which will be require Mongoose. Okay, and what else did I bring in? Go back to my package.json. What are the libraries that I bring in here? We got, might as well bring in cores while we're at it. And yeah. Okay. I will create the variable for cores, although I'm not going to use it yet, because I want to show you why that matters, but that's going to be a few videos down the road. Cores require cores. Okay, so everything should be brought in. Let me just double check that one more time. We brought in cores, we brought in custom env, brought in express, we brought in mongoose, so we're good. Cool, so that's kind of all of our dependencies. Now we want to connect to our database. Okay. Now what I want to do is save the connection object. So I always save it in a variable called db, which is going to be mongoose.connection, which just basically is a variable that represents the state of the database connection, which we can chain events off of. Okay, and then we need mongoose.connect. Okay, we need to pass in the URL. Okay, and for that I need to go quickly look up. First off, let me do this. mlab Heroku environmental variable name. We want to set up the environmental variable right off the get-go, because later on we'll do the Heroku deployment. There, that's what I'm looking for. MongoDB URI. That's going to be the name of the variable. Okay, so I want that in my dev environmental variables. Okay, we'll put our local one there, but later on, well, I won't need that one there. Heroku will already pretty much have that set for me. Cool. Now let's see here. Next I want sort of the local Mongo URL, URI, I always forget what it is. Do. Okay. Here we go. That's just what I want. I just need the port. Okay. I think after that we're good. Take a quick flip through just in case there's anything else I want to make sure I make a note of. I think I am good. Okay. So that should be MongoDB. I should just probably copy one of these strings real quick. Copy this one. And then generally I always want to make sure I have a quotation around this one just because of the nature of all the special characters in it. MongoDB, I want to change this to localhost. And then here we put the name of the database. We'll just call this project 4. Save. Because generally when you have Mongo database running, that's where it's running on. And actually on that note, and again, this is not a tutorial on Mongo, so if you haven't seen my Mongo videos, you should probably watch those first. If you're wondering about what's going on here, but I'm going to start Mongoose, so that way Mongo's running in the background. So sudo mongod okay, so that's running, so that we don't have that issue. Okay, so we got the environmental variable there. Back to here, so then here we would just do process .env dot mongo db URI. I think that was it. Let me just double check. MongoDB URI. Yes, that's what it is. Cool. Process.env MongoDB URI. Yep, that works for me. And we want a little message when it connects, so we're going to do db.on, which is a function that allows us to trigger a function on an event with the database. So when the connection is open, we want a function that just console logs connected to Mongo. Okay, and then we also want another one, db.on error. And I think this one takes an error. Console.log the error. Okay, and I think that is good for our connection. Let's test that out first. Make sure that we get connected to our Mongo database. So let's do npm run dev. Okay, starting the server. Connect to Mongo. There we go. Creation warning, good, good, good. So it did connect to Mongo, so we're good. We're connected to the database. And now you see all these warnings. What we have to do is we just post basically a db config object, which is an object with certain properties. I make that a const. And you just basically read the deprecation warnings, you'll know exactly what to put in there. Use new URL parser true. The other one we need to add in there is use unified topology. Unified topology true. And then we pass that as a second argument into connect. And then that'll make all those warnings go away. So now when I save this, it'll restart the server, and it should just connect to Mongo without all those warnings. There you go. See, nice. Okay, good. So basically our project connects to Mongo. Actually, I'll just use the same variable in our production variables. Because again, these are just for local anyways. I mean, I could later put the production detail there, but it's fine. I gotta worry about it right now. Okay, cool. Now, let's actually get our server listener. So we need to create a port. Okay, so const port. And generally you want this to equal process.env.port, because Heroku is going to basically give you that information. It gives you that variable. So we need to make sure that there's a space for that variable to be injected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make our own version of that variable. So when it's on dev, port will equal 3000. Why not? And prod will be 4000. Just to kind of show you that In different environments, things do work differently. 4,000. Let's close those. Okay, so with that, now I can put my listener. So server listener. Okay, and that's going to be app.listen port. And we have to pass in a little function for what happens when it's done setting up. Okay, console.log backticks listening on port. And we'll use some interpolation. Port save. So now that's, again, I'm running dev, so it should say listening on port 3000 once it connects. See? Now let me kill this server and run the production script. So npm run prod. And now it should say listening on port 4000. Cool. Okay. Just to show you that, again, how that all works. Because we set up our scripts to specify what our environment is. And I'm going to do one more script. Because you want to start script, because that's what Heroku is going to run by default. If not, then you have to do all this proc file stuff. But if you just put a start script and put what you want to do, we don't need a node environment because Heroku will provide its own environmental variables. So I don't need to do that. I can just do node server.js and we're good. Okay. Cool. So let's go back to server.js. We got our listener. Now we just need our middleware. Okay, so middleware wise, let's see here. Middleware. You don't need a public folder because basically our front end will be completely served by our React application. This is going to be a backend only application. So we really don't need a public folder. We're not going to be taking any kind of form data, so we don't need to use URL encoded. Really right now, all we need is app.use to set up a piece of middleware, and we just need to use express.json. So that way any JSON data that comes in gets parsed. Okay, and at the moment, that should be it far as middleware. Okay, so in that case, we can start building routes. Okay, oh, there's still a couple other things we need to set up, but I'm going to save that for the next video, so I'll see you guys in the next one where we'll create a schema for our thing.